Peace and love, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to Flow Into UTV. I am Ifa Busiayo Nafis, and I am here to give you your soulful conversation for the week. We got a full moon week ahead of us. This waxing moon phase has been very, very substantial. I hope that you all benefited from the soul flow conversation we had last week and that you were able to move through the energies and attune yourself to what's happening, what's unfolding. And I am really looking forward to this week's soul flow conversation. Very much so. So without further ado, before we get started, I want to thank my subscribers. The OG subscribers, thank you. To those who are or will be subscribing on this video, thank you. And make sure you like this video, share it with those that you feel will also be in flow with what comes up in our conversation today. Okay, quick announcements. Look forward to a program rollout for the channel on Tuesday in the community conversation, the post. Most of my activity will be here on YouTube. So if you follow me on Instagram, I will be updating in the stories, but I want to be concentrating more so in creating content here as well as being and posting here. So if you're following me on Instagram, thank you for continuing to be a part of my community on Instagram, but just also make sure that you stay tuned here on YouTube because this will be my priority moving forward. Also with the program rollout for the channel for Flow Into UTV, which will take place on Tuesday, I will also be showing what to expect on a weekly basis. This week, first off, just to give you a quick overview, on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, that is my intention is to provide you with content on those 3 days. They will have different themes, but the theme will be consistent, but what the offering will be in alignment with the theme. So every Monday you can expect a soul flow conversation where we will dive into the energy and the essence of what to expect through the week so that we can know how to attune our energies into creating more flow and less resistance. And so just stay tuned to that on Tuesday. And also to make sure I got all the announcements. I got all the announcements so far. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this week's Soul Flow conversation. Great living spirit, align my thoughts with your thoughts. In this soul flow conversation, I call you into this space, as well as the sacred ancestors who are support of harmony, flow, and peace, as well as my guides to anchor in the message and to protect the flow of this conversation in order that clarity may flow through. Move away any witchcraft, wizardry, or any energy of confusion or distortion or doubt from this conversation. Ashe. What at this time would you like for us to be attuned into receiving and understanding for this upcoming week? Thank you, Ashe. What would you like me to transmit for our collective this week? Serendipitous. Solar beam. Say your prayers. Make sure you have, if you do not already have, a prayer practice in place, this week is a great week to establish one. Because there are influences that will emerge from this full moon that will seek to, what I'm hearing, distort your cognitive thinking. That will impact your decision making. There are important decisions that will need to be made this week. There are influences designed to increase your level of doubts. And how you choose to make these decisions. I'm hearing, if it's option A, don't choose option B. Observe option B, but choose A. You know who that's for. And find serenity in your decision. Someone, I'm hearing this is going to take you back to 1985. So someone's in this collective that was here in 1985. That's for you. And I'm also hearing for those who were not here in 1985, like physically present, the events that took place in 1985 are significant. Something around the essence of that cycle is reappearing in the collective. I'm hearing show up with grace, but stand 10 toes down. Show up with grace and stand 10 toes down. Don't let nobody make a fool out of you. Perspicacious. If you don't know what that word means, Check it out. Perspicacious. Sign up for what is going to expand you. This is a week of evolution. There is an evolutionary component to this week. I'm hearing don't be fooled. I'm hearing don't be fooled. So your prayer is prayer. You do not have a prayer practice in place. If you need support with prayer, if you need support with a prayer practice, make sure you comment below that you need support. Comment below that you need support. Don't have any shame, or you can send me a DM on Instagram if you don't want to post it below. Because this is the week. This is the week for prayer. I mean, every day is a day for prayer, but being very attuned to and aligning your prayer practice to serve you, to serve your evolutionary walk, to serve while you're here, to understand the components, the elements of prayer beyond maybe what there may need to be a reconditioning of what prayer means to you, uniquely to you, to self. So there's a cognitive, that could also be something that there may need to be some adjustments and some breaking down of dogma around prayer. Yeah. Because that don't be fooled energy, there will definitely need to be a specific level, the right quantity of discernment for moving through this week with flow. And, not just focusing on what's going to come at you externally, but really how to respond to what takes place externally is what prayer really supports you with. Yeah. Yeah, because there is this is interesting. Give me 1 second. Yeah, because the 10 of Sixes out here with the Father of Baskets. I'm going to just stop there. There is what I'm hearing, and the symbolism here present is there's a redistribution of energy taking place. There's a redistribution of energy taking place. So where there has been an exertion of your will, and paying attention to how the distribution of your willpower, your ashe, your life force energy, how has it become more burdensome, and where can your load be lightened? So there is this, moving with your prayer practice and having a level of discernment of what exactly is mine and what isn't. Because I'm heavy, my energy is, I'm distributing my energy, directing my energy, directing my life force in this direction. And it has something to do with emotions. Where are you casting your net? And is it yielding for you the results that you truly desire? And we're gonna let me take that a little bit further. Let's go a little bit deeper, because you can't catch fish on the surface, right? When you cast your net, you got the casting of the net. The fish they're not right there on the surface for you to get. So let's go a little deeper. So where you are, sometimes I'm kidding. Sometimes we are trying to, we're getting more. We're trying to take on things that are no longer aligned with where we are in our development. There hasn't been a resolution, maybe in a stage of our development that may be in the past. So that could be why 1985. That's also a reason why 85 is that. Yes, because 85 is not in the present. So whether you are alive or not, the significance of that year is that it's not now, but it's showing up now, because there isn't a resolve from something that has taken place in the past. So maybe just to break down where we have the illustration of the casting of the net, you may be wanting to catch a specific fish, but your net is not designed for, even when the fish is caught, to make sure that it gets to your boat for you to actually receive. The net may be too small, the net is too small, and the fish is large, that even if you put it in the location of where the water is, where you know the fish to be, the net is not going to be able to hold on to that fish for you to be able to get it to you, to get it to the boat. It may be because of the size of the net, or it may be that the weight of the fish is too heavy for it to even get it to you. So the Father of Baskets being here, and this being the archetype of a mature, like knowing, okay, this is what I desire to get. This is what it's going to take to get, I mean, in every part of the process to get to that point, right? Like the timing, the equipment, the tools, all have to align with, you know, moving in rhythm with the feeling, right? So now we're not just moving in logic with just, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be logistically. It is when I get to the logistics and I'm feeling it out. Now, I also need to make sure that I can feel it out, because with the 10 of Wands here, if I have too much already that I'm carrying, that I'm already exerting more of my life force energy, even when I get there, will I even have the capacity to receive what I came here for, which requires me to be able to not just think, but to feel. Because if your life force energy is depleted, if it's leaking somewhere else, will you know that you're in the right place at the right time? Will you even be where you need to be positioned? Or are you going to be now positioning yourself to take on, to be in a place that's going to just mirror back your heaviness, to mirror back a cycle to you that, you know, got you, you know, you bent over, you tired, you need a boost. So as we're moving into this full moon phase, right? Full moon illuminates. It shines its lights in the darkest night. First of all, the moon doesn't care how dark the night is. It's still going to be illuminated. It's still going to illuminate, right? There is a heaviness, there is a release that needs to happen this week. In order for you to receive what you've been asking for. Because then there's that. Because let's get into that. You can pray. You could be, maybe you have a prayer practice already in place, right? And you're praying for something. You're petitioning. You're calling in an energy. And it's attempting to get to you, right? But there are obstacles that are interfering with you being able to receive what you're asking for. Now, it's easy to be like, oh, I asked and it hasn't come here yet. Okay. Well, there may be experiences that are happening in that are illuminating to you the process of release that needs to happen in order for receptivity to happen, right? So going back to the fisherman analogy, when the fisherman shows up the next day, he doesn't have on his boat the fish from the day before. The day before, the fish that he caught Hopefully he took it home and did what he needed to do. But the main point of that analogy is he is not taking the fish from the previous day into the following fishing day. If he did, he wouldn't have room to catch more fish. He also would lose, more than likely, the fish that he casted, that he worked hard to get the day before. But if he was stuck on, oh, I got this yesterday, and yesterday I was able to get this, and I got this from yesterday. Well, does that matter today? Because today, room needs to be made for what is designed to be received today. But if there is no room, it doesn't matter how much you ask. If you don't have the room to receive it, you won't have the room to receive it. Reminds me of Bag Lady. And when I look at the 10 of Sticks in this deck, that's what it reminds me. You have these rods, these sticks that you've gathered. And now, they've gotten heavy. Are you going to choose to keep putting more sticks on your back? Or are you going to be like, maybe this is the end of the bundle and I need to lay, as the old folks say, lay my burdens down. Lay the sticks down. Lay my burdens down. Do you have a prayer in place to lay down what you no longer need in order to receive what you're asking for? Are you aware of what those burdens are so that you don't pick those up again? Right? What do those burdens look like? What do the burdens look like in the conversation with yourself, with your thoughts, with how you show up, where you're showing up, with the environment that you're in? What do those burdens look like? Are we clear on what those burdens look like? Or are the burdens, what we think are burdens, are not actually burdens? They're actually keys to unlock the door for you to cross into the threshold of your next step. Because that's happening this week. We're moving through a threshold. Ashe. Actually, we're moving through a threshold. And the ending of a cycle is here. It's time to prepare your emotional capacity for what you're about to receive. Find a place to deposit your burdens instead of on other people. Okay? Find a journal. Because they're going to come up. They're going to come up. They may show up as people. They may show up as conversations. However, this is where discernment comes in. Because if we find ourselves in a moment, in a conversation that is designed to expose to us the burdens that we are carrying and that we have permission to release them, but now we find ourselves trying to defend them. That face. Then what? ¿Qué pasó? What are you doing? Right? But that's your choice too, right? There's no judgment here. If you want to continue, you will have that choice. That's where the A and B is. You want to choose B, choose B. But understand that when you choose B, where is that taking you to? Right? Where is B? Is B about to lead you back into a trauma loop? You about to go back. You about to go back through a loop. You about to be back on a hamster wheel, going through the same thing you went through before. Or do you choose option A, where you can lay your burdens down, but it requires surrender. It requires casting your net and trusting when you cast your net, you're going to get the overflow that you seek. Now, that overflow looks like, and this is where the laying of your burden, this is where the laying of your burdens down comes from, because now you receive an overflow, but you're like, this doesn't look like what, it doesn't look like my burdens. Basically, you may not say that, because when you say that out loud, it doesn't aesthetically sound pleasing. But the cognitive component of it is, if you're programmed still where your burdens were your safety, then there is going to be, oh, I don't see that in this, so now I'm in this conflict and in this mode of resistance, because this overflow is completely different from the overflow of burdens that I'm used to. Yeah. What's the program you're running on? What's the program you're running on? That could be a journal prompt. Drop that in the comments too. What program am I running on? What is my radio signal attuned to? I want to listen to this, but I want to listen to jazz, but my station is on country music. And I'm frustrated. And now because I'm not on the station that I want to be on, because I'm moving through frequencies to find it, but I can't find it. And instead of me just continuing to be in discovery mode and finding what it is that, because it's there, it's not that it's not there, it's not that someone's trying to pull the wool over your eyes. There is the station that you seek for the genre of music that you want is there. But instead, you're on the country station. You're like, you have all of the negative things to say about country music, only just because you're not where you want to be. You're pouring your energy into speaking negatively about where you are, instead of directing your energy to where you want to be. Okay, well, I know this is not that station. Let me just keep moving through the frequencies to find it, versus, man, I can't stand country music. I can't deal with country music. I can't believe I'm on this station. Why does this even... You just spend 5 minutes on this station instead of just moving the dial. And then when you get to the station you want, you still talk negatively about the station that you were at, even when you get where you wanted to be. Assess that. Assess that. Because if that is where you are, in that analogy, right? If that is something that is happening in your, if that is your dialogue, if that is how you are communicating, if that is how you're using your word power, your energy, where, why is that? Cross the threshold to go back to the beginning. If that's what you also need to do, this might be a week of crossing the threshold either back into the womb to reset, reassess your influences. Because sometimes we need to reset our codes. We need to go back. We need to go back to the original plan. No plan B, only plan A. Unless you want to go to plan B because you think it's easier than going back to the original plan, right? But the original plan is always in place. Some of us will be going back to the beginning. And it's okay to go back to the beginning. If something ends, you're technically, the beginning and the end are two sides of the same coin. Right? Some of us will be revisiting an old cycle, and some of us will be generating a new one. Depending on where we want our signal to be. But we are in a threshold. This week is a threshold, okay? Some of us in this collective threshold crossroads. What served us at one point of our life is no longer going to sustain us in the next cycle. What nourishes an infant cannot nourish a teenager. It may be the same food. You can have a mashed, you can give a mashed sweet potato to an infant because that's all they can, that's the only form they can consume it in. Same food. But now as you get older, you have a choice. You can have mashed sweet potato, you can have sweet potato fries, you can have sweet potato, with butter and cinnamon sugar in a whole form. You get a choice of different forms, but it isn't, you're not limited to one form. However, different forms may serve you differently. So then the what choice is the best choice for where I am at this stage of development? Ashe. If you made it this far, drop a triangle, a green triangle. I'm gonna choose one more card, and then we're gonna wrap this conversation up. Because this is, I can feel. I can feel the weight. Set your burdens with compassion. And if you are addicted to a certain burden, right? I want to look at so and so in a certain light. I don't want to see them in any other light that requires me to have compassion or requires forgiveness from me. Be transparent with yourself about that. Be transparent. Sometimes we justify what really, and we think, oh, it's serving us because we've built our identity around it. Some of us here may be about to go through a Saturn return, and things are about to shake up for you because you've built your identity on you've built your identity because someone else didn't understand their burdens. They took on the burdens of others, and it wasn't, God doesn't give us what we can't bear. But if we want to use our free will to take on others' burdens, the Creator doesn't stop us. Right? But there are blessings that are flowing through this week. For those of you that follow the real sky, the full moon will be illuminated in the constellation of Sagittarius. Now, if you're not aligning with the real sky, you will align yourself with the full moon being in Capricorn. But if you are aligning with the real sky, you're looking up, the influence of this full moon will be Jupiter. So there is expansion and growth that comes with this lunar cycle. But if we are, hell bent on what's not working for us, the growth and expansion doesn't stop. It's just going to expand what's not working for us. And our blessings, it doesn't mean that the blessings won't be there. They'll be there, but whether or not you recognize them or you are attuned frequency-wise to them, for you to open and receive them, or for you to even have the space to receive them, because if your focus is on the opposite and it is hell bent on that, then you may not have the capacity to receive those blessings in whatever form they come for you. And then sometimes we're like, well, I didn't get that, if there was no room because of where your focus was at. Then there was no room. How are you going to be able to receive? So clearing the channels, moving, releasing. Some of us have been working up to this point. So those of you that are within this collective that have been clearing, attuning, clearing, fine-tuning, refining, making conscious, unconscious loops. There will be a bounty that will flow this week to you to give you confirmation that yes, you did that. You've been here. Your soul's gonna be like, all right, I'm about to equip you with the tools for this next phase. Because you've made space. You've made room. You realize that this was to serve you in this cycle, and now you're ready for the next cycle. Okay, so also be open to expecting the unexpected this week. Expect new channels. Create space for new channels, new discoveries. Don't take the same route. Take a new route home. See what happens. You used to taking the same route. Find a new way to travel this week. See what happens. There's a lot of new discoveries this week and new ways to allow your soul to flow that may increase and expand what you have always believed that you could do. And be open. Because sometimes the burdens are that we just continue to do things the way we've always done them. And somewhere our soul is like, there's another way. There is another way. There's another way. Take that way. You know, if this week you hear your soul saying, something leads you to go in a new direction, listen to that voice. New form of expression. If you get invited to go somewhere that is not typically where you would be, but it's connected to something you were willing to, you've been like, I've been thinking about that. I want to do that, go. Because that's also a part of reprogramming. We show up in spaces, we are positioning ourselves where we typically wouldn't be. We're doing new things. We're creating new, and it's giving us a new relationship or connection with our, with our minds, letting us know, hey, we're safe in the unknown. We don't have to fear the unknown. We can face the unknown with courage, and trust that wherever I am, I'm safe. If I can feel that something is off, I will trust that feeling. But even in trusting that feeling, I know I'm safe wherever I'm at. Versus I'm safe in only what I know. Because we're moving through a threshold into something we don't know this week. Something new is happening. It may be happening in multiple areas. And so ground yourself this week. Understand that our brain desire some, depending on how we've worked with our cognitive space, will determine, it's okay to show up and be like, this is new for me and I'm feeling the feels, right? But, this is new for me. I'm saying I'm feeling the feels, and I'm feeling these feels, but I'm also not allowing the feelings that I'm having to move me away out of what is in store for me within this unknown territory. I'm allowing myself to be stretched. I'm allowing myself to uncover new language within me. I'm allowing it to emerge. I'm allowing myself to put language to things that used to be uncomfortable for me to speak about, but I'm finding a new way to express it. I'm finding a new way to birth what I'm feeling. I'm finding out that in this, this may not be the space for me to communicate this, but that doesn't mean there isn't a space for me to communicate it. It just may not be where I thought it was going to be. But if we position our prayers, with, I know what I need. These are, my unmet needs have been showing up like this. I'm aware that my unmet needs are showing up like this. I'm not denying them or suppressing them anymore with whatever. I'm choosing to illuminate it. I'm choosing to be like, This is what it is. This is what it is. So now I want to use my prayer practice to harness in on, well, how do I express this without creating harm for myself or others? And we may have had experiences in the past where we may have created harm, but we've learned from, we realize, okay, it's come back, but I want to respond differently. I want to show up differently for this. And this will be the week where we cross that threshold, because sometimes we just want another chance to do it right. And we may have, for some of us, that opportunity to do that again. And now we have a different, we have different tools. We've created new space. We've expanded ourselves to see ourselves differently. We've recognized what happened in that breakdown previously, and we're making this choice to not continue to repeat it and to live in it, or to torment ourselves with what had happened and what was happening and how it happened, what shoulda, coulda, woulda happened. And we don't clog our energy channels with that, because we want new energy to flow. Ashe. Cheers. Is there anything else that we could that we need to wrap this reading up with? Great Creator, great elders. Choose wisely. Choose wisely. It's fresh. It's new. But choose wisely. There is still wisdom encased in innocence. And although you may have experience up until now, because the maiden is out, you may have had years of experience of life. You've had experiences upon experiences upon experiences. But where this threshold is asking that you have a fresh perspective, as if you are brand new to, you will be brand new to this thing, but not allowing yourself to let this new experience be its new experience on its own, without projecting, project your wisdom onto it. But all the other stuff, other than wisdom and discernment and understanding and compassion, all of the other, like, I tried this before, I did this, it failed, and da-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. No. Actually, if that is, just know that if that is what you want to do, what that's going to come with. Because if that is your choice, the fresh is now tainted. And if that's what you want, that is your choice. If you want to choose a new, fresh perspective and opportunity, it will be available to you this week. And if you recognize that that might be a challenge, like in hearing me say this, and you may have a visceral response to what I'm saying, recognize that all is not lost. There is an opportunity. That is the gift of prayer. That is the gift of prayer, ritual, setting an intention. When you can recognize what is your resistance, if you're in tune with your resistance and you desire flow in that place, then you can attune to what is creating the resistance and work with your prayer practice to move that energy in whatever form it's taking. Not to just, bypass or, be dissonant or, deny it and call it names and be critical of it. If that's what you, let me say, if that's what you choose to do, then that's what you choose to do. You have an option, though, to show up in a fresh energy, a fresh wind, a new spirit. One of my favorite scriptures is Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 26 and 27. Because sometimes, especially with that 10 of sticks, you just like, oh, I am tired. My spirit is weary. I'm shocked I even made it to this point. And you may need to summon in a fresh spirit to release and remove. So spiritual baths, whatever your tool is to cleanse and release, other than projecting it on other people and making it their problem. Okay? I would encourage you to refrain from that this week. I would highly encourage you to refrain from that this week. Very much so encourage you to refrain from that this week. This is a very fortuitous week for unlocking, releasing, shedding, receiving. Depends on where you are in your cycle of development. But collectively, we are at a threshold, crossroads. What is your choice? What does your soul need at this time to develop, to expand you? Are you and your soul on the same page? Is there a conflict creating resistance? What does that conversation look like? What is that dialogue? And that can show up in prayer. Like, are we on the same page? I'm asking for this, but are my actions moving me in alignment with this? Or do I have any beliefs or ideas that I've been conditioned as a child that, are showing up and not really supporting my expansion? And if so, can I have that revealed to me so that I don't, put it in this space where it doesn't need to be? But support me in the refining and the renewing of that, because there was an unmet need there. So then even working with our ancestors, right? Is there, we talked about this last week, there may be needs that are unmet ancestrally, generationally. And do we need to go back to the womb on it and rebirth something? So we may need to call in our mothers. Can you renew my spirit? Because let me tell you something. I feel like I'm in a position where I'm going to do something that may not be in the best interest of myself and our family. My spirit, I'm hot. Cool. Make sure you keep a cool spirit this week. Make sure you keep a cool spirit this week. And that is the end of our Soul Flow conversation. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you made it this far, drop a heart with a rose, okay? And let me know. Let me know in the comments. Actually, I'm laying my burdens down. I'm laying my burdens down. Because I'm tired. Tired, boss. I'm tired, Grandpa. Well, that's too damn bad. Sorry. Shout out to y'all know. But yeah. This was a heavy reading. When I say heavy, I mean the substance of it. We went there. We went there. I was not expecting this. I send back all the energy of this collective. I call it a fresh spirit to support us in our renewal process in this space. If you need some support, I will be opening my books on. I'll be opening my books on Wednesday. I will be opening my books on Wednesday. But if you want to DM me because you want me to go ahead and put you as priority for booking, I will give you that priority, because I'm gonna have limited spots. If you are seeking to work specifically one-on-one on this conversation, which is laying your burdens down. And yeah, you want to work one-on-one specifically with me in the context of that, you can send me a DM on Instagram, or you can send me an email. It is in the description box below. And just let me know, because let me tell you, I understand. We all in this together, okay? We are all in this together. I have taken distance for this purpose, and I've returned because I understand, and I'm here to serve, and I'm here to support you in your journey, because I understand that sometimes it gets weary, and sometimes you feel like you're not understood, and I get it through and through. So please let me know how I can serve you. If you are in this space right now, know that you are not alone. Let this message meet you where you are and take you where you need to go. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment below. And until Wednesday. And if you all don't come back on Wednesday and Friday, until next week for our Soul Flow conversation, I'll see you. I'm sending love. I'm sending peace. And I'm sending clarity your way for you and your family and your community, wherever you are. That it may be anchored, that it may be rooted, and that you may experience it with freedom. Ashe.